Alright guys, update on the throttle body injection, 9-second impossible job. 12th cut. What did we do? Well, we did a couple things. We raised the roof on the whole intake port. We stuffed it for a 1206 gasket. We cut open our short side wall more toward the center. We'll take a look at that. As of right now, our liquid looks pretty good. Okay, looks good around here. I can hear Whiffy yelling inside, so dinner will be ready soon. Okay, we've got a much different splatter pattern than we had last time. You can give me your opinion on that or not. Okay, we are, looks narrower on our valve than we were last time. That looks pretty good as far as I'm concerned. The way that comes around, you get a little splatter before that plug. I think that's good. Okay, right down its throat. Looks pretty good. See it right up into the chamber. Okay, you can see at the top of that short side radius how far that's been moved over. Okay, see if you guys can see what I did with the short side. You can see how far over that's been moved. I still haven't gotten a thin spot on that ramp. Somebody said you can grind almost that entire ramp out. I don't know if I want to do that. We'll see how the swirl is developing as we go. But we have gotten some good gains by moving this short side over and giving it a lot more short side radius than it had before. Our short side radius speeds are pretty decent as well. Another thing I'm thinking of doing is taking this little piece of chamber out. DV says don't touch that because it reduces your swirl. That might be the way to go on a swirl head. Give me your input on that. Okay, take a look at it this way. Okay, try that again with a little bit different lighting. I think you guys can see that better. You know what I think you guys need to look at? I don't know if you can see it or not, but how that point on that high helix ramp comes together. It's relatively even right now. Somebody was talking about how they don't like those two air fronts banging into each other, but the closer they come to a point, the less they'll actually collide. Okay, working on my lighting. See if I can get a better view of that. I kind of like the way that's shaping up right now. All right, I'm going to one-hand this since it may be a little bouncy. This has been changed in here quite a bit too. This has actually been ground down and then it comes up faster at this point than it was stock. I wanted to see if that would help. Okay, 2 scribbled up pages. This was our 11th cut here. This is our 12th cut. It was actually flowed a couple times. Raised roof, more short side radius, angle. And I cut it for a 1206. Well, did it like it? It didn't like it in the lower ranges. And this one came out all zeros. My swirl meter was jammed, which did affect the flows. It's nothing I really want to worry about. Loss. Small gain. Small gain. Decent gain. Okay, it's 600 lift. We're 273.2, which is still better than a Fuelie. I've driven really good running Fuelies. They make serious power for what they are. Yes, it is a bigger port. I did promise you guys I would CC it. I haven't done it yet. You know how much I hate CC imports. And we top out at 287.3, which is pretty darn good. In fact, this design seems to really like the higher lifts. Not really surprising since it's such a restrictive port design, right? Now let's take a look at what happened with our swirls from here to here. Now this was tested with the bolt in with clay around it, but it still gets air from the next port over. Now, when I start doing the real heads, I may do a lot of this work, but leave that bolt hole unbroken and see where we are. That may be the way to go. Or cut it way back and put a tube in it. We'll have to see. Because I do remember it liked opening up the top of the bowl as far as biasing that intake bowl quite a bit. But as far as our swirl, we're hit or miss. Minus, plus, minus, 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 plus, plus, minus, plus, plus. We got actually good size pluses up. And somebody was saying, hey, this thing's turned into a centrifuge. Well, if we look at the completely stocked swirls, they were like 3,500. Charlie, how can you have almost the same swirls as it was stock? I'm sure it's not exactly a stock curve, but it tops out pretty darn close to stock. If you want to, you can go back on our first TBI video and you'll compare the swirl curves. This swirl curve will get it done. Remember, we're going to be right around 600 lift, 288.9, I think that is. My scribble. Plenty of swirl, as DV would say. Okay, as far as our air speeds, these were our air speeds for this cut. Okay, the numbers are the same spots as those, right? So this is what we got now. Okay, take a look at the bottom. This is where we're comparing them to. Plus, plus, minus. Finally got the top of the pinch working. Now remember, it was cut for a 1206, so that's considerably different, and that port was raised. The whole port was raised. So it's got a lot more area, but it came alive, which doesn't sound intuitive, right? As far as our roof speeds, cranking as far as center of the cylinder, right? 254, and it was 242, so it went up. This only went up one piece, and we went up a tiny bit on our center of the cylinder. The short side's actually big enough now that I can measure it in the middle, so it's 371, and the other side is 329, which isn't bad considering the crazy shape it is. You know, you would think most of the air wants to go around the inside, but it's really not bad as far as being even from side to side. Alrighty. I forgot what else I wanted to talk about with you guys. I'm not really sure what I should do next. I may just take this piece out. Easy enough to fill with clay if it's a complete loser. But I think I could probably take more of that helix out, even though it did only give higher lift flow numbers. It was only an improvement at the higher lifts. I don't know whether we need more than 273, to be honest. You guys give me your input on what you think we should do next. I think I may just take this corner out and do the next test. Alright guys, give me your input on that. Thanks for hanging out tonight. Good night.